right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Onchain Media Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Onchain, and today we have an incredible project, one of the newest collaborations and partnerships of Onchain Media. We have DRVN Labo here, and we have Rex from the team. Rex, if you guys are in the Onchain Media community, you should know Rex by now. He's been an active supporter. He's been active in the Telegram. He has been always showing up for us in the Onchain Media community. So this partnership really felt like the next natural evolution of our relationship. So Rex, super happy to have you on. And yeah, we're kicking off a lot of exciting things this week. So happy to have you.
Exciting indeed. Thank you for having me and looking forward to this conversation.
Of course. And for those of you that are just learning, like I'm sure you've seen Rex, you've seen Buster, you've seen all the shows they do on the timeline. But the purpose of this podcast today is we really want to walk you all through and give an introduction to the project, maybe some deeper functionalities, and just going through some of the things they have coming up on their roadmap and previous milestones they've hit. So we have a lot to unpack today. And we're kicking off some exciting things this week, including our new show, Under the Hood, the live stream. So we're very excited about that. And yeah, we'll be diving into all the exciting things happening. But first and foremost, I want to give a chance for Rex to introduce himself. Rex, you've been in the crypto space for a while, and I'm curious if you can give an overview of your story and a bit about yourself.
Yeah. So as you said, been in the space for a long time. I've actually been into crypto since 2013 and been really heavily into Web3 since about 2016, 2017, was bit by the NFT bug early on, and I saw the amazing things that you could do with this new form of tokenization.
Was that CryptoKitties?
It was, yeah. CryptoKitties is really what expanded my mind to all the amazing things that you could do. I immediately went towards how it could be used more for real world goods as opposed to being purely digital. But I'm sure we could talk a little bit more about that later if you'd like. And then I went full-time in Web3 in 2019. I was VP of Web3 for a startup social network, decentralized social platform. And then when that company went out of business in early 2022, I was like, Web3 is where I want my career to be, is where I want to put down my roots, and decided to build something that really tied in all of my passions. So cars and crypto is really the center point of that ikigai sort of.
Yeah, I'm always talking about ikigai. Yes. Yep. I love that.
Yeah. So, and I've been huge into cars and motorsports my whole life. My family has been in the industry for 4 generations. So, definitely just steeped in it.
Yeah, we talked about that. And I'm curious, how your upbringing, I know we're going to dive into this on our live streams as well, but I'm curious about your background, your upbringing. You live and breathe car culture and now, crypto and bringing that culture on chain. So I'm curious, what about your upbringing and your background has made you so passionate?
It's really just being around it for my entire life. I remember going to Indy races, NASCAR races, and things like that when I was younger, and just being totally in awe of the spectacle of it all. I don't think there was ever a time I didn't have Hot Wheels. So, cars were always the thing that I was most drawn to. When it came to gaming, it was racing games above anything else.
That's probably the equivalent of stepping on a Lego in your household. It's like stepping on a little race car.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that happened all the time. So yeah, and then I got into racing cars 15 years old. So as soon as I got my license, or my permit rather, I was behind the wheel of a car driving it at its limit. So
my God.
Yeah.
That sounds like something, I don't know if you have videos or we could dig this up from the archives, but I would love to see one of these days some vintage Rex racing content like that.
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
Sure I have some pictures somewhere. No video, because this was late 90s. So yeah, the video cameras weren't as ubiquitous as they are these days.
Okay, well, maybe one day if we ever get you back in one of the cars, maybe we could do some content. That would be a lot of fun, Rex. I know we were talking about how you have you're going to have eventually a showroom and ways where people can come see these collector cars. I would love to do some content.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we've got big plans for where our facility is going to be, right on a racetrack. So lots of opportunities to experience the car in their natural habitat.
I am so excited about that. Well, just to kind of rewind a little bit, if people are just hearing about Driven Labo for the first time, now we've heard from you, we know a bit about your background. And I have to say also, you have been a core pillar in the base community too. Like you're on all of the shows, spaces. You guys have multiple shows happening a week. Now we have our new live stream. And maybe before we dive into the project, I'm curious, like, why have you guys chosen to make base your home?
Really pretty simple. I saw when Base came out, bit of their vision was clear to me from the beginning. And with Coinbase being at the heart of the Base network and everything that they're building, I saw that as the best opportunity to build something that would appeal to the masses. Coinbase is the biggest exchange in the US. It's got the best reputation. And that's something we knew that we could leverage to onboard the automotive enthusiast world. And then the Base app came out and I was like, wow, this is everything that I was hoping for. Now we have an even better way to bring people into Web3 from, the sort of the traditional automotive communities, and do it in such a way where they don't have to worry about all of the learning curve that you and me take for granted, having been in this space for so long. So, yeah.
Yes. That's something I have to say also, Rex. I hosted this event in Laguna Beach last Friday that I was telling you guys about. It was crazy, wild experience. But something I learned is that, we had the homeowner of the house there in Laguna who is not crypto native, but this entrepreneur, in the healthcare industry. We had an actor from Breaking Bad come out and you'd be surprised, like when we, do our normal conversations and lingo, like there are people who are not familiar to the space. They're like, we do not know what you're talking about, just so you know. Was like, that might as well have been another language. I think part of the purpose of doing, content like this, right, is really breaking things down and helping to educate and onboard more users and the masses to crypto. And I think a really great entry point, I've talked about memes, but RWAs, car culture, like there is a global interconnected, massive community of car culture enthusiasts, collectors. Like that is just something that makes so much sense. And hats off to you guys, because I don't see a lot of projects really focusing on this. So yeah, I would love to drive into like what Driven Labo is and maybe just, we'll start breaking everything down. Maybe we could show the website here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, that's a good place to start from. So let me share my screen. And so yeah, from our website, there's a link to everything in our ecosystem. So you touched on the RWA, the real world assets side. We're getting heavily into media ourselves, starting with written media, but we're going to be really diving heavily into YouTube series and podcasts and a lot more over the coming year. And then we also are partnered with a very well-known specialty car focusing on JDM and collector car dealership in Denver, Colorado. And so that's really helped to expand both our access to vehicles and access to massive players in the automotive industry. So I guess we could start with, we'll go ahead and start with Driven Vehicles. So that is the app that's available through your browser, or you can also access it directly through the Base app or Farcaster. So you can take a look at it right here.
Wow, we get to see a live demo here today, you guys, with the Driven app.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and log in. So if you're new, you go create a new garage and create an account and connect your wallet, or you go unlock your garage. Obviously, I already have an account. So
can I just say, as a marketing minded person, I love that there's so much like car language that you can bake into a lot of these things, like, under the hood or live stream. Like, I feel like there's just a lot of fun turns of phrases that you guys can do with this for marketing. So
yeah. And that comes from my branding brain, because I spent a lot of time in brand development. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't using too much of that Web3 lingo, that we only use it very sparingly when it's contextually relevant. But for instance, the wallet portion of the app is actually the garage. So this is where you can go in and see all your assets and everything. But starting from the dashboard gives you just a snapshot of what's going on within the ecosystem here.
And I love that you can preview the different media, like shows you have happening. Like that's really cool. And you guys I feel like there's a lot of layers to this project, you guys. Yeah, the podcast, you guys have a newsletter. There's a lot of different layers to this. So I'm glad we're doing a series to unpack everything under the hood. So.
Yeah, there's a lot to get into for sure. Yeah, the driven culture within the app right now, this is not currently live. It's just sort of FPO. So this will be in the next update, we're going to be rolling out all of the actual written and video content. But what we can take a look at right now is the first car that we're going to be offering in our fractional ownership platform. All of the cars that we're going to be having in our long-term collection for our community to become fractional owners of are called the R-Spec collection. And so they all start with RS. The token is RS, in this case, RS1. And first car is Paul Walker's personal Ferrari.
I know that car. That is a beautiful vehicle, you guys. The lore behind that, I know, Rex, there's a huge tie-in with Fast and Furious lore, Paul Walker. I know that he's really inspired your guys' mission, your brand. I know there's charitable efforts involved. So maybe we can unpack some of the lore too. But yeah, beautiful
Definitely.
vehicle.
Yeah. So this is going to be going live in just a couple of weeks. Depending on when you are watching this podcast, it may already be live, so you can go and become a fractional owner yourself. But the objective behind the R-Spec collection is really to take these one-of-a-kind cars that only the super wealthy could really ever afford and make it something that the average automotive enthusiast can have a stake in. They, as a fractional owner, they have a proportional share based off of the number of tokens they hold of the car. They also get to experience the car as a co-owner. It's not like a lot of RWA where, you buy, let's say, tokenized treasuries and you're just looking at the performance in your wallet and then you close it and go on with your day. In this case, you're working with a community of co-owners to figure out how to manage the car, what to do with it, how to monetize it. And all of the revenue that the car generates yield back to the shareholders of the car as well. So this becomes a financial
Positive
asset.
flywheel too for everybody.
Exactly. That returns the dividends to the owners. And of course, you can also go to any of the events where we're going to be featuring the car, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But our cars will be featured at events all around the country, or you could come to our facility in Austin, Texas, and we'll take you out for a drive in the car. You'll get to, experience it as if it's your car, because in every respect, it is.
That's a beautiful thing. Having an opportunity to be a part of the ownership of the decision making for that vehicle. I just think that's really cool. And then also the option to earn off of that, right? The incentives that come with that. And I am curious, just to break this down for viewers, what are the ways to monetize a vehicle like this?
So there's a few, let's say, approaches that we have out of the box, and then it'll also be up to the community to come up with their own unique programs or systems to generate revenue as well. But some of the things that we can do is work with movie studios or production studios to rent it out to be featured in media. We're also going to have our showroom, which is going to act sort of like a museum. So if you're a non-member, you can come view all of our cars and pay a fee for admission. That goes back to the vehicle owners as well, producing a lot of content. So like YouTube series and things like this covering each car. So that will generate revenue through ads. We're going to be doing merch around each car. So each vehicle is almost going to be treated like IP in its own right. And so we can create a merch line inspired by each vehicle. We'll also do digital twins that will be interoperable in-game cars using NFTs that can be used in or driven in a variety of different Web3 racing games. And so as people are purchasing the digital version of the car, that's another revenue stream for the owners. And yeah, I mean, sky's the limit, honestly. There's so many things that we could do with it.
I think there's like I said, I'm really glad we're doing a whole series because there's so much to all of this, you guys. And it sounds like you guys have really used your imaginations and figured out what are all the top things that we could do with this vehicle. I mean, you're talking NFTs, IRL experiences, shows, ownership, ways to earn. I feel like you guys have really thought of everything with this. And, I'm excited also, I have to say, from the Onchain Media side, because it sounds like we're going to make a lot of fun content here. So, this is exciting. And it's new for me. My content's all crypto, community, education, on-chain education. This is new for me, and I'm excited to dive into kind of a new culture, so very exciting stuff. What are some of the other things you guys have going on that are coming up?
Yeah, so we are going to be at ETH Denver this year. So that's coming up in just a few weeks, late February. And we're actually going to have the Ferrari featured there at ETH Denver. So, good chance for us to connect with fans or, make new, bring in new community members and share what we're doing with having this car live on the floor at ETH Denver. And then we are also going to be at most, if not all, of the Slush Motorsports festivals throughout the year. So there's usually between 3 to 5 of these events. They draw in over 100,000 people for each event. And they're really a unique type of automotive event, whereas a lot of times it's just a car show. In this case, it's designed for allowing the attendees to experience the cars the way they were meant to be driven. So, for example, we went to Slush Motorsports at the Pikes Peak Speedway last year, and they have an oval track, they have a drifting course, and they have a drag strip. And any of the cars that are there can go and drive them on any of these courses. We're going to have the Ferrari there at Slush Motorsports, and probably quite a few other events throughout the year.
That's awesome.
So that is one of the cars we featured there. We had a number of cars at our booth.
Mm-hmm.
There's a R34 Skyline GTR V-Spec 2. It's probably about a $200,000 car.
Wow. Wow, look at that under the hood. That's crazy. So what are some of the notable features of this car that make it so valuable and like such a rare collector car?
This one in particular? The main thing is the lore. So it became extremely popular because it was featured in Gran Turismo 2. And that was, our generation was playing that game like crazy, but you could never get the GTR in the US. So it was this unobtainable Japanese supercar. And these things have been dominating in Japanese motorsports forever.
Don't you have a white one too, or I'm thinking of a different model?
You're thinking
That's another
of
Japanese.
the Silvia, but if you go back to the main feed, you'll see the Silvia and the, there you go, that's my car right there, the white one.
Okay.
Yeah. The Silvia and the GTR share a lot of commonalities.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that, like a similar kind of boxy aesthetic to it. And I feel like I've been in Japan quite a bit over the past year plus. And I've seen like a similar style where people have pointed out like, oh yeah, that's like a very coveted car in Japanese culture. So I feel like you would be able to point those out there.
Yeah. So that's a really big thing that we're focusing on. Our generation, our classic cars are the JDM sports cars of the 90s. And so that we're going to be really looking to collect a lot of those vehicles that right now are just skyrocketing in value and have so much cultural value as well. So, the Ferrari is almost kind of an outlier from the standard cars that we're going to be bringing in. But of course, being Paul Walker's car, it's a perfect fit for our brand.
I love that. And before we dive in, I want to go through some other elements of Driven Labo, but I think the lore piece and the why, right? You mentioned Ikigai. I think explaining the why behind what you do is really important. So I'm curious, like, what has made you passionate and what has inspired you? Like, I know, you talked a lot about Paul Walker and like his efforts really inspiring you. So maybe you can unpack some of the lore there.
Yeah. So Paul Walker is just one of those, I hesitate to say celebrity personality who has touched so many people in his life, both on screen and off. Paul Walker has become sort of synonymous with the benevolent risk taker. He's a good guy, but he is, willing to get his hands dirty and take the risks to protect his family in the movies and everything. And so many people valued and appreciated his role as Brian O'Connor. He was a very complex character. And then off screen, he was a huge automotive enthusiast, had an incredible car collection, which we're lucky to have one of those now in ours. And he also was a philanthropist. So he started Reach Out Worldwide, which is a charity that helps to get aid on the ground in disaster areas.
That's huge. I'm actually pulling up the website right now so we can show our viewers. And I think we even made a donation or you won one of our giveaways from Onchain Media and you said you wanted to go directly to this fund, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So 10% of the revenue that we generate through the Buster token trading is donated to Reach Out Worldwide and his other foundation, the Paul Walker Foundation, which is a little bit more oriented towards ocean conservation.
Oh, this is fantastic. So
That
you
one,
said what percentage goes to this?
10% of the trading fees from the token. And then we'll also be, as we generate revenue through the rest of our ecosystem, we'll be taking a portion of those profits and putting them towards the same goal.
This is incredible, you guys. And I like how, like you're in the car and automotive industry. And I think efforts like this, anything to prioritize sustainability, giving back, supporting charitable causes, I think that's a really, really positive thing. And also it honors Paul Walker's memory, right? Like the way you guys have built your project. And yeah, I think that's great that you've baked in those charitable efforts. It's awesome. And proud at Onchain Media that we've even been able to support a little bit with that, and happy to explore how we can tap in more and support the charitable efforts because I think our space needs more of that, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's always room to give back. We can't just be doing all of this stuff for ourselves. We've got to, there's almost in my opinion, a
Responsibility.
responsibility and an obligation that if you can give back, you should give back.
I absolutely love that. That's something I've been talking about and brainstorming on for years. Like how through crypto can we fund things that need to be funded, right? That's something I've been reflecting on for years, like how we as a community can give back. I love that you guys are on a similar frequency there. I am curious because you guys have been around on base and have accomplished a lot of milestones. So I'm curious if you can cover what are some of the things that you've accomplished as a team that you're proud of, and what are some things coming up that you're excited about.
Yeah. So over the course of 2025, we were really heads down building, trying to also build a community at the same time, but mostly focusing on bringing our product to market. I'd say some of the biggest milestones have really been, there was ETH Denver last year where we made some amazing connections. Of course, met you in person for the first time. And then we also were at On-Chain Summit and massive opportunity to connect with people and really deepen relationships. So for me, that's been some of the most rewarding part of it so far. We also launched the app within the Base app and Farcaster, I think just the week prior to attending
So in
On-Chain
the
Summit.
on-chain summit car here too,
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, so that was my the concept livery for my car, which I brought out to the event. So this was just a little Photoshop work that I did, but it ended up looking a lot like that, minus the On-Chain Summit logo
Wow,
on the side.
we did an on-chain summit recap stream
Hmm.
together. Man, this feels like 10 crypto years ago.
I
That's
know,
pretty
right?
funny. But yeah, you guys were a big part of the summit. ETH Denver. I'm glad to see you guys are actually going to be showcasing one of your vehicles there. One of our friends in the Doge community, Gary LaChance, actually brings the Doge McLaren. So
Hmm.
hoping to come hang out with you guys and cook up some content at ETH Denver. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think most of our biggest milestones are just ahead of us, coming up very, very quickly. We've got so much that we've been developing on the back end. We've got 4 different teams of developers building the various features within the app. So we've got, and we can touch more on this when we do our live stream, but we've got the RWA side. We have an on-chain car registry for the average person to tokenize their own car in a slightly different way. We've got the media side. We're bringing in video games, so interoperable games where all of the cars and assets can be used across games. And then we also have social features, which allow people to leverage their tokenized vehicle to monetize it through the social platform.
wow. Well, you guys really have thought of everything, I feel like. And yeah, like I said, you guys, we are going to be having a weekly live stream, and I'll show you guys the promo for this really quick. That way, if you're watching this and you want to get involved and you want to learn more, we're going to be diving deep into everything. And yeah, by the time this comes out, you guys will know there's going to be a big live stream party coming up as well. So stay tuned. If you guys are watching this, you probably might have seen the promo already. But yeah, I'm excited for this series because with a project like Driven Labo, there's so much that's possible, right? There's so much that the project is doing that I think having regular educational breakdowns and showing what they're doing is really going to help the community to get involved, to understand it more, and to learn what's possible. So yeah, definitely excited and hope that if you guys are watching this, that you pull up and yeah, come support and come ask questions. And then yeah, also I did want to touch on some of the partnerships, right? Like we recently announced Onchain Media and Driven. We're collaborating, we're partnering, and I know you guys have several other exciting collaborations and partnerships cooking. So if you guys haven't seen this, we are now the dedicated media partner of Driven Labo. So we're doing shows, we're going to be doing video editing and just cranking out a lot of content and helping to grow the Driven community. So very excited, Rex, to be working with you. Again, I've said this a million times, but just it feels natural, like we've already been supporting each other in the community. So, and yeah, as far as other partnerships, Rex, what else are you excited about from the Driven Labo side?
So I'd say the biggest partnership that we currently have that has become integral to what we're building is RevHard Motors. So we've got a link to RevHard Motors directly on the Driven Labo website right here. And they are a JDM and collector car importer in Denver, Colorado, which is currently where we keep the Ferrari stored. And these guys have decades of experience importing, well, I should say sourcing some of the hardest to find cars on the planet and importing them. They have the whole process down to a science. And so they are our official vehicle acquisition partner. And then we've also got them set up so they now accept crypto for cars. So any car that you might want to buy on their site, you can buy it with crypto.
Wow.
Or you can search the Japanese inventory and select a car and get the process rolling to have it imported. So great partner with RevHard Motors. And then we have a number of other partnerships that are currently in the works. I can't spill the beans on them just yet. A couple of them are pretty massive, but we're also looking at working with smaller communities, Web3 projects, even meme coin projects that have really active communities to give them something fun to do, do some cross promotion. For example, we are going to be working with All Your Base and Mr. Miggles to do some crossover activities. And one of the things that we're going to be rolling out first is within our arcade section, you can mint an avatar, a playable avatar of Mr. Miggles or Cats, the character from All Your Base, and play as them within the games.
That is so cool. We got to get also, thank you, Base God. I'd love to see a TYBG little Base God driving around in one of these cars. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're involved with a project, particularly one on base, we would love to talk to you about, doing some sort of collaboration. And if you are just interested in what we're doing as a whole, we do have an ambassador program. So you can
This is important here, you guys. So if you're watching, you can leave this podcast. You can leave from watching this and get involved and sign up. Or apply.
Yeah, there's a few different ways that you can get involved. We're very, very community focused. We don't want it just to be us calling all the shots. We want it to be something where our community feels empowered to bring their ideas to us, or if they want to pitch an idea to build out another side of the ecosystem, be it events or practically anything, we want to give you the opportunity to do so. So the ambassador program is more for people who are going to help with the marketing side and promote the brand, build our brand awareness. And so you can see all the details here. You can sign up, you can apply there and earn Buster, and that's our ecosystem token, and USDC for your contributions. But the other thing that we've recently launched is our Driven Founders Club. So this is more for our hardcore fans that really want to have a seat at the table. And we are selling 3 different tiers of our Founders Club keys. There's the steel key, carbon key, and titanium key. Each one of these gives a ton of awesome benefits, such as I think the biggest benefit is really getting into having lifetime access to the pre-sales of every car that we tokenize on the platform. So they'll get like front of line access to get into those pre-sales. They also get an instant Buster airdrop. So roughly 20% of the mint price is actually returned to you when you, like a rebate almost, when you mint the key. And you can see all of the other benefits here, but the big one that we're talking about right now would be access to the Founders Club, where you can effectively act as an advisor or part of the team if you want to, build out something for the project yourself. You'll get our full support as part of the Founders Club. They are available to mint now, so you just go to the Driven Vehicles app. That's drvnvhcls.app.
Okay.
And then once you create your account, you go to the Buster Club, and then you can see right here the 3 keys, and you can just mint them straight from the app.
Super simple. Well, yeah, if you guys are watching, there are multiple ways to get involved. And the last two I would say is low hanging fruit, right? Subscribe to the newsletter for Driven, you guys, because they're chronicling their whole journey. Everything they're doing, their culture is well documented, and they have a regular newsletter. So definitely subscribe to that. And then also join the Discord. So maybe, Rex, you can just touch on those final calls to action there.
Yeah, definitely. So the newsletter can be found at Driven Culture. So this is going to be our full publication. We're going to be releasing daily articles pretty soon, but right now it's a weekly newsletter that comes out every Friday morning. We're on issue number 108. So 109 comes out this Friday. And then just go to Driven Culture, drvnculture.xyz to sign up. And then you can also access our Discord here if you go to Driven Culture. We've got a link to it right here, and you can also find it on our X account in the bio. There's a link directly to we call it the Labo community.
Amazing. Well, you guys, you heard it here on the podcast today. There are a ton of ways to get involved. Subscribe to the newsletter at drivenculture.xyz. Hop in their Discord at the same link. Also, give them a follow on X as well. You guys have, they're very active on X. We have our live streams happening there. Any final words of wisdom or anything you want to share before we drop here?
Well, I guess best thing I can say right now is I've been thinking, being it's January, and what is it I'm focusing on this year, and I think this is something that everybody could appreciate or find value in. For me, the thing I'm really focusing on this year is community, building community both online and in person. So, we would love to have you in ours. And, when you join, if you want to build out your own local community to bring together car lovers, teach them about crypto, we'd love to support you in those efforts. So, yeah, I think community is in the future of AI, where everything is, a couple clicks away. The thing that AI can never replace is human connection. And that's something that we're super bullish on. And, we'd love to have you in the community.
Well, I love it. I'm bullish on you guys. I mean, this is a project where you've really thought of everything, bringing people together virtually, IRL. I just think you guys are doing something very unique and very valuable for our industry and for global onboarding. So hats off to you guys. And I'm now ideating, like, what can I do in my community? I'm in Southern California, so I feel like there's definitely like a lot of car collector culture here as well. So we should definitely jam on that further.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, maybe I'll get the Tesla meetup happening over here. I don't know.
Yeah, I have lots of friends in Southern California, so I'm sure we could find a way to get you out to some car events.
Okay, that would be awesome. Well, you guys, we are going to end for today, but if you are watching the podcast, we are going to be doing a giveaway. If you're watching this, just quote retweet the podcast, share why you're excited about Driven, and join the Driven Labo Discord as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on who does that. And what we'll be giving away for this, you guys, is a Founders Club key. So retweet, share why you're excited, and join the Discord and say hello. And if you're learning about Driven Labo for the first time, we welcome you to the community and super excited to kick off our partnership with Driven. Rex, well, thank you so much for today. And I'm sure I'll see you on our live stream coming up too.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. It was fun.
All right, man. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye.